facility that gets extensively used by a lot of the businesses in the area. And I know you think we're smart, we're cute, and we have no crime and no traffic pileups or holdups on our highways. But what makes us competitive, to be honest with you? What gives us a qualitative edge in terms of competing in a tough economic environment, especially being so close to Dakotas and and Iowa, is really the top infrastructure that we talk about in telecom. Bill remembers a time, I think he was working for Envoy at the time, when a company out of Plymouth, Minnesota came to Pine Island that was writing code for the AS400. And one of the first questions they asked me at the time, what kind of telecom do you have? I said, we have a T1, runs right behind the building. T1, I mean, T1 connection is what, like a Volkswagen compared to a Ferrari or something? So they moved their entire operation because their workforce was closer to the IBM plant in Rochester, and they were getting a lot of the folks who were trained in writing code for the AS400, which is a workhorse for a lot of businesses at the time. I don't know if it still is or not. But guess what? That story repeats itself time and time and time again, and it's more important now to distinguish ourselves by providing the high speed. Here's what we're after. We're after 1 gig symmetrical, up or down, for this building, or at least the industrial biotechnology park here in town. So here's the story. We went out, and I was going to say this is like a story of deceit and high drama, but it's really more of a story of learning more about what's available out there. First off, we discovered that there is a fiber optic line or route running along Highway 59. I think Frontier owns it. So we go out and ask for a price estimate on a monthly service to this building. They, being nice people that they are, would cover the cost of actual construction, which roughly is about $22,000 to bring it from Highway 59 into the park along Bioscience Drive, along the Prairie Drive. 22,000. Well, they're spreading that over a 5-year period or so, and they were thinking they're going to have to charge us $1,500. It becomes manageable if we have, like Tom said, enough occupants in this building that as part of their contract, we can level an equitable charge on it. Will be, one user, $1,500 divided by 5, that's $300. Well, I mean, still high, but you get 1 gig. I mean, that's a lot of speed right there.
Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt, but the $1,500 is the monthly charge?
Monthly charge, yeah.
Yep. Ooh, we gotta change it, right?
100's just not gonna cut it. It's
ROI just improved. Okay, I'm sorry.
You gotta start
I'm sorry.
You gotta start
That's-
I apologize. Go ahead.
That's for the 1 gig up and down.
Yeah.
That's 1 gig up and down. Now here's the story. We talked to Vast, and Vast, thinking that we're a bunch of country pumpkins, they respond to us by saying, we'll get you broadband. I said, what kind of broadband? They said, oh, it's only $700 a month. So there's the rest of the story.
You want to see our price?
$700 a month. Well, here's the story. It turned out it was like 100 meg or 50 meg, and they were really trying to shyster us into thinking that's broadband. So let's define what broadband is before we really go after and talk about, what is needed. What I find really surprising as we engaged in this is that the level of complexity that is intended for no other reason except to confuse the consumer. And that is, I think, by design. Just like those end user agreements you get from Apple. Read it once. Take you 5 days to read it. My point in this is we're still pursuing it. The equipment is there, and I think there's going to have to be some time lapse before we can restructure our lease, if you will, because the relationship from a legal standpoint was going to be between WIDC and the ISP provider. And in turn, there's some one step removed from the county and the city, if you will, because we manage this building for the city. So there's some contract updates that needed to be done. Bottom line, the issues we're dealing with, whether it's on the provision of infrastructure, to be honest with you, and the state we find ourselves in, should not be a surprise to anybody. Because frankly, there are many opportunities for our legislators to vote in the positive, but we tend to, for some reason, in the last few elections in this country, we started attempt to kind of bundle up moral legislation with infrastructure legislation. So they're all put together and they're not separated. If anything, I want us to really convey the following: that this stuff is agnostic. It doesn't have any belief system or any moral value. It is about providing the necessary infrastructure that we really, really need in order to distinguish ourselves and be a bit more competitive than we are.